Hi guys, what's going on? It's creamslice, welcome back. I just want to go over a really powerful Stasis Warlock build with you guys today. We covered it previously last season and I had a comment in the section saying, you know, this build is going to take off in Season of the Wish, right? And I was like, okay, let's see what the artifact has to offer. And I'm absolutely blown away with this build in general. As we know, the Stasis lock is a staple for endgame content, especially if you are running solo master content. The footage you are watching was me taking this build into a solo master nightfall at 1810 currently. You can just see how well it performs when it comes to crowd control, when it comes to champions. We have some crazy artifact perks to take advantage of. So with this build, what you can expect to have damage buffs from being radiant if you want to run a solar. So as you can see from some of these clips, we are radiant, we have infinity cold snaps, infinity bleak watchers. Look how we are handling these champions with some of the damage buffs. I hope you like it. Drop me a like if you like the video. Let's get it. So the two aspects I always choose to run with Stasis lock has to be ice flare bolts. Shattering a frozen target creates a seeker that tracks other enemies and freezes them after the previous one has been defeated. And then we have Bleak Watcher to slow and freeze higher tier targets, perfect for Grandmaster and Master Nightfall territory for amazing crowd control, which we can also enhance with some of the fragments we are running. So for the first fragment we are running has to be Whisper of Rending. With us using the Tiku's Divination is also going to do increased damage anyway, but we can now add an extra 40% to that with Whisper of Rending. Primary ammo weapons do increase damage to frozen targets. Then we have Whisper of Shards. Shattering stasis crystals temporarily boost our grenade recharge rate. So this is a 500% recharge rate increase, and the reason we are running Whisper of Shards is because of the new artifact Pillar of Ice. Defeating an encase combatant spawns stasis crystals at their death. What this means is when you defeat a frozen target, they're going to create a stasis crystal. You shatter that crystal and it will just constantly recharge your grenade rate, which is super powerful, especially with the ability nerfs this season. I think Pillar of Ice definitely brings Warlocks back up the food chain in terms of one of the best subclasses in the game right now. So to take advantage of our Bleak Watcher, we are using Whisper of Durance to enhance our Bleak Watcher. These will last for 20 seconds now. Then we have Whisper of Chains. While we are near frozen targets or a stasis crystal, will take reduced damage. So as you can imagine, with us freezing everything all the time, with the artifact perk constantly proccing on deaths of enemies, we're always going to get that 40% damage reduction. With us being the stasis lock, it's absolutely mandatory that you run the Osmiomancy gloves for stasis subclass. So Fervid's cold snap is the armor perk, basically gives us another cold snap grenade, giving us 2 charges. Just to be clear, as I always state with this build, because it's not the first time we've done it, make sure when you are using your grenades, they are direct hits on the enemy, just to make sure you're getting that additional charge back. So I just wanted to touch on the Tiku's Divination. This has to be one of my favorite all-time weapons in the history of Destiny, because it has so much power. This season we can stun unstoppable champions with it as well, making it even better to take into endgame content. So the intrinsic perk is Sacred Flame. Hip firing this weapon fires multiple tracking projectiles. Targets marked by these projectiles explode upon death when hit with a Sacred Flame's explosion. Casualty arrows. Precision hits with perfectly drawn arrows increase the power of the detonation. With the artifact working with this against frozen targets, then we have Whisper of Rending and Radiant as well. It's really easy to take down champions with a primary weapon. Plus, we get the nice added bonus of Scorch when we are Radiant. So there are 3 artifact perks this season that makes this build even deadlier than last season. If you remember, we took it into a solo GO showcase, but this season, due to the artifact, there are 3 magnificent artifact perks that you need to be adding to this build. The first one is Kindling Trigger. While we are Radiant, solar weapon damage applies 30 Scorch to combatants who aren't Scorched. So if you're like me and you love the Tickus and wished they had a catalyst at Scorch, you have now been gifted. The next perk is Flint Striker. Landing multiple precision hits will make you Radiant for 10 seconds. So now we can add Radiant into the Stasis subclass with the Tickus Divination. And then the cherry on top is Torch. While we are Radiant, we have 5% increased damage against Stasis debuff targets. So the great thing about this build when it comes to mods and customization, with Pillar of Ice and Whisper of Shards working together constantly with this build, it allows us to free up our slots on the armor when it comes to ability regen. So we'll start on the helmet. We have a Solar and Stasis Siphon for creating orbs of power. We have a special ammo finder as well. On the Osmiomancies, it's going to be feeding more into our Rift ability with Focusing Strike, Impact, Induction and Momentum Transfer. On the chest piece, we just have Concussive Dampener and our Elemental Damage Resistance. On the boots, we are running stacks on stacks to solar weapon surges to have a 17% damage increase with Tickus Divination. And then lastly, on the Warlock Bond, we have 1 Reaper mod to create orbs of power with our weapons when we use our Rift. And then we have a double bomber mods for increased grenade recharge rate. This build is absolutely phenomenal, possibly my favorite build this season so far. I hope you guys found this build helpful, especially when it comes to soloing Master Lost Sectors and Endgame Nightfall. So I'm creamslice. Thank you for taking your time out to not one, listen to my voice and 2, watching the video. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.